Hi, everybody. Welcome to another video on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, specifically investing in Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. So in my first video, I tried to answer various general questions by clubbing questions together and just talking about, things like Bitcoin volatility. Should you invest in crypto? What kind of time horizon should you have in mind? How risky is it? How should you look at the risk and try and sort of come to terms with it? How should be part of your overall portfolio asset allocation and strategy and things of that sort. So check out that video if you haven't. In this video, I'm going to pick up a couple of specific questions that I got asked about Bitcoin and try and answer those specifically. Right, so one of the questions that I got was, which exchanges or wallets do you recommend? Now, I'm not going to recommend anything specifically. I'll tell you the way I go about it. Um, and please do your own research before you dive in. So how should you invest in it? Means what's the mechanics by which you should invest in Bitcoin? Now, this depends a lot on where you are. And because I know that people from at least 5 countries are going to watch this, the answer would vary. So, for instance, in North America, I would definitely look at Coinbase um, as the way in which to on ramp your money into crypto, because it's just the biggest, it's the most well known, it's the most you can call it regulator friendly um, sort of crypto exchange there is. So Coinbase would definitely be something that I would look at. I know in Canada now Wealthsimple has started crypto accounts as well, and so that's something that you can look at. I know that in India, I've used ZepPay, and I was quite happy with ZepPay. And this I used that a while back though, so I'm not sure how it is now. I used to really love, although I think the government messed up a bunch of things in crypto in India, and so CoinX, which was I think an amazing exchange, is now gone, but that's one I did use earlier. The other way in, and that would be my preferred way, by the way. You go through one of the big exchanges, right? I'm all for institutionalization. A lot of people in crypto are in it for the libertarian, screw the banks, I want to be my own banker, I want to hold my crypto in a hardware wallet under my mattress. I'm not like that. I don't like that. I don't mind paying somebody a commission or a fee in order for security and in order to sort of hold custody of my crypto, knowing that I can always log in and check it. So find a good large crypto exchange in whichever jurisdiction you find yourself in. So one specific question, which I answered in the previous video as well, but I'll pick it up in any case, is why is cryptocurrency so volatile? It's the volatility is decreasing as it becomes more highly or more largely or more widely adopted. So, and this is bound to happen as it gains further institutional adoption as an investment class. You are going to see volatility reducing as it has already. So, since its massive run up from the early 2000, from 2013, 14 or so until the end of 2017, because that was when it was just sort of it broke the surface, so to speak. It's now in the public eye, and so it won't be as volatile. And also keep in mind, the one thing I didn't mention in the other video was that the Bitcoin market cap, and I think I got this number from someone else. I think it was Mike Novogratz. The Bitcoin market cap is just about 3% of the market cap of gold. That means in money terms, the amount of money held in Bitcoin is about 3% of the money held in gold. Now, which means that Bitcoin is a tiny asset class. When you think of serious investment money, like serious institutional investment money, it's nowhere close to gold, and of course nowhere close to stocks, and nowhere close to bonds. One way in which to think about this visually is, if you have a really shallow pond and you drop a large stone in it, it's going to have a lot more uh, disturbance in the water as compared to if you go to a larger lake and drop a stone in it. The relative movements are going to be much less. So in large pools of money, it's difficult to get bigger movements, but in smaller pools of money, a little activity causes greater movements. So Bitcoin was a tiny pool of money. It's now becoming bigger. And as the pool grows, as it becomes a larger lake from a small pond, you're going to see the volatility reduce. Right. So I had a few questions on mining Bitcoin. And they also try to understand the link between mining Bitcoin and the price of Bitcoin as an investment. Um, And that's really not my specialty, so I won't get into that. But I will say this: you have crypto economics on the one hand, and you have crypto investments on the other hand. The crypto ecosystem as a whole is quite a large, diverse space, and it's getting more complex and more diverse and larger. And so there are various aspects to it. So you have blockchain and its economics, then you have cryptocurrencies and their economics, and you have the integration of the two of them. Then you have the integration of all of them with innovative or disruptive technologies, generally speaking. All those are questions about the economics of Bitcoin and crypto. So the concerns of an investor are not the same as the concerns of an analyst who's trying to find out what the economics of crypto and Bitcoin is looking like. Because as an investor, and this is a personal view, but it's a view that is taken seriously in the investment world. As an investor, all I want to know is whether an asset class has proved itself as a store of value over a significant stretch of time. And so Bitcoin has done that, and I see it continuing to do that. And so that's what I'm most concerned with. I do keep track of Bitcoin economics, crypto economics to an extent, but it's not something that I'm an expert on. And so I wouldn't want to go there. And I would say that you'd be better served if you're looking at Bitcoin as an investment to study investing rather than studying crypto mining, right? So if you're trying to understand how to invest in Bitcoin, read about investing, because a lot of the mistakes that people make are investing mistakes. They're not crypto mistakes, because the same principles of investing that apply to stocks, bonds, and commodities apply to crypto as well. Okay, so I had a specific question on Bitcoin versus altcoins. Can you talk about these and which ones would you invest in the crypto space? I would invest in either the top two or the top three cryptocurrencies, and that's it, right? So directly in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP, or Ripple's XRP, has become a bit of a question mark since 2 days ago because of SEC's suit against it. And I would have about 70 to 80% of my money in Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is the one, and Ethereum now are the two that have really proven themselves as assets, as investment assets that institutions and serious investors are interested in, and that's what I want to participate in. Why is that? Because look, it's very difficult for an alternative asset class to emerge. It's a very unlikely event. It rarely happens, and when it does happen, like it did in the case of Bitcoin and Ethereum, it's very difficult to say which is the next one that's going to break out. So you have thousands, literally thousands of altcoins. Now, which one are you going to invest in? Because every altcoin thinks that their use case or their reason to exist is much better than the rest. And I don't want to get into that. It's the same reason that I don't want to put too much money in penny stocks or very small stocks. I want to put it in the large established companies or in a diversified portfolio of small companies. Right. So in the case of Bitcoin, because it is a very small market still, and because Bitcoin does still make up about 70% of the entire crypto market cap, that's what I really want my money to be in, 70 to 80% in Bitcoin. So even though Bitcoin has reached new highs, in fact, that's a reason for me to invest more for the long term, because I know it's again proven itself with its ability to reach new highs. So I wouldn't be running out of Bitcoin and looking for the next big altcoins. I'm not going to look beyond the top two or three cryptocurrencies in terms of market cap, at least for the next few years. Okay, so I have another question, and this was an interesting one that got me thinking. So, if there's an internet blackout in the world for some time, can anyone still access their Bitcoins? All right. So, if there's an internet blackout, well, yes, you can. Um, so here's how it is. You can either hold crypto and Bitcoin in an online on an online exchange or an online wallet. So something like a Coinbase or a ZepPay in India or a Wealthsimple in Canada. Or you can hold it in on a hardware wallet, which is actually a physical piece of equipment, which you, like a USB stick, you can plug into your machine and use it offline. So that can be done. So if you don't have internet, you can still access your crypto as long as you've stored it on a hardware wallet, right? So you can do some research on hardware wallets if that's what you want. I have used a hardware wallet. It's not my preferred method of storing crypto. So since it's a digital asset meant for a digital world, the most physical you can get with it is a hardware wallet, as I just mentioned. So there's no other physical manifestation of it, at least that I know of. So another question is, can I invest in equity through Bitcoins? And if yes, can I choose to get the sale proceeds either in Bitcoin or any other currency? So, to the best of my knowledge, and I may be wrong on this, but to the best of my knowledge, no, you cannot invest in publicly listed stocks that are regulated by the securities commissions of various countries through Bitcoin. And no, you cannot withdraw the proceeds of a sale of an equity or a stock in Bitcoin either. This is to the best of my knowledge. You can, of course, take your profits from Bitcoin and transfer that to an equity trading account and buy stocks or shares. And then you can take the proceeds from stocks or shares and then transfer that to your Bitcoin wallet. So you can convert Bitcoin to equity and equity to Bitcoin, but not directly, not in the way that you can convert stocks of a company into cash or cash into stocks of a company. Right, so I have one question, which is actually many questions rolled into one. Will cryptocurrencies ever solve the problem of ensuring long-term sustainability of economies by maintaining adequate liquidity levels so as to avoid inflation or deflationary situations? Firstly, this is not all that is required for sustainability of economies, but I'm going to sort of cherry pick from this question and say this question is about, will crypto solve long-term sustainability of economy? So can it solve certain problems in the design of monetary systems? Yes. Blockchain technology can solve some of those problems. And some of the other ideas in crypto, such as decentralization, can solve certain issues. Also, what's more important, I think, is that cryptocurrencies are designed intentionally, which means you can make it what you want. And monetary systems can be designed in different ways. So not all monetary systems are the same. So if you can identify issues in an economy that you're dealing with, and those have to be specific to a particular economy, it could be local or it could be more general, then you can try and address those issues through a specific cryptocurrency or through the adoption of cryptocurrencies, generally speaking. And there are some crypto projects that are doing this, so you can research that. But crypto as a whole, I don't see it as an answer to the ills of the financial system. I think it's going to be more of a supplement to the existing financial systems. Financial systems evolve. There aren't really whole scale revolutions within financial systems. So you see changes, and then those changes gradually morph uh, into affecting larger, more significant changes. See, inflation and deflation is always going to be an issue with regard to uh, any any currency that's used as a currency. So I've been talking about crypto investing as an asset, not as a currency. So there's a distinction between that. And the one, as I said in my previous video, is not intrinsically linked to the other. So its use as an investment is not tied to its adoption as a currency. So is the value, the follow-up question is the value of cryptocurrencies purely driven by contrarian breadths? If so, will mass acceptance of cryptocurrencies eventually stabilize its value? So I did speak about this a little bit in my previous video, in which I said if anything that comes to be cash, that means anything that gets used as a currency, is only used as a currency if its value is relatively stable. If its value is not relatively stable, it doesn't function as a currency anymore. So if crypto comes to be used as a currency, that will only happen if its value is stabilized. That will have to be a concerted effort to stabilize its value, or if that's not there and its value is not stabilized, then it will not be used as a currency. So this has nothing to do, by the way, with its adoption as an investment asset. And as I said in the previous video, it's being invested in more as a store of value and as an asset class rather than as a currency. So I don't see Bitcoin at least becoming a currency. There may be other cryptocurrencies that are more amenable to being actual currencies, and those won't have, for them to be successful, they can't be as volatile as Bitcoin is. So is it driven entirely by contrarian bets? Well, like any asset class, it's driven by demand and supply, and not only contrarian bets, it's driven by speculation or investment or trading. And so some bets are contrarian, some bets are momentum driven. You can have various types of bets, but it's basically driven by the money chasing it. So the more money, if there's more money chasing it than there is money dumping it, the price is going to increase. If there's more money dumping it than there is money chasing it, then the price is going to fall. It's as simple as that. There are various stories based on which people invest in it, right? That's where you get into crypto economics. So people either invest in it thinking of it as sort of like a digital gold, or they may invest in it believing in the promise of blockchain technology, or they invest in it thinking that it's going to be adopted as currency. So whatever your chosen narrative that you choose to believe before you invest in it, that's a different story, reason. Is it still worth getting into Bitcoin now? And when I make this video, Bitcoin is at new highs. Yes, it is. If you have a 5 to 10 year horizon, anything less than that, I don't know. But if I had a 5 year horizon, I would invest in Bitcoin and Ethereum both. And I wouldn't worry too much about it being at all time highs because look, it was at all time highs in 2017. It crashed and it's back up. So as long as you have a long time horizon where you can absorb those crashes and you can afford to lose that money, at least notionally on paper, then I wouldn't be too worried about it. So the thing is, you should have the stomach to invest when it's down. So when there are crashes, you should have the stomach to put in more money rather than take money out. So if you put money right now when it's at 23,000 US dollars, and then if it crashes to 10,000 US dollars and then you take it out, that's a bad decision. But if you invest more at 10,000, that's what I would. So are any of these cryptocurrencies even remotely reliable in the long run? Um, as I said, I would just invest in the top two or three cryptocurrencies by market cap or market capitalization. So the two or three largest, and that's only Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP of Ripple. And XRP now is, as I said, under cloud because of the SEC lawsuit against it. So it'll just be Bitcoin and Ethereum. I can't predict the future, so there are no guarantees about what's going to happen with it and whether they'd be there in the future. But Bitcoin and Ethereum now, it's for a number of years have proven their ability to draw investors in and to draw serious institutional money into them as assets. And so I would bet on them as investment assets, and I look at Bitcoin only as an investment asset. I don't think it's good as cash, and I don't think it'll be adopted as cash. Ethereum, I don't know how much of the ecosystem that's being built on it is going to be successful, and what's going to be successful on it. I guess a few projects at least will be. Um, but yeah, I would bet on Bitcoin and Ethereum being successful in the long run, at least as investable assets, apart from anything else that they happen to achieve. So another question is, considering that everything will eventually go the cryptocurrency way and people and governments will eventually accept it, how do I know if I'm buying the right one? Can't the government or banks or large corporations create their own and render the existing ones useless in the future? Or is that not how it works? That's a great question. So the crux of the investment point over here is, how do I know if I'm buying the right one? And I keep going back to the point that you don't want to bet on unknown micro little cryptocurrencies that are floating around in the ether out there. You just want to bet on the top two or three in terms of market cap, which is Bitcoin and Ethereum right now. Right. So don't fall for stories about how this is the next big Bitcoin or this is the next Ethereum or this is the next whatever, this is the next big thing. Like, don't fall for the next big thing stories. Just go by what's been proven, which is that Bitcoin and Ethereum have proven to be good, attractive investments for institutional investors to be interested in, and therefore we want to be in it. That's it. Simplify matters. Now, will everything go the crypto way? I don't think so. As I said, in monetary systems, they're usually not revolutions, but they evolve, which means that crypto will be part of the ecosystem along with other sort of bank-based central bank currencies, uh, and whatever else there may be. So if you think of PayPal, for instance, now, which is one of the big crypto stories of 2020, PayPal is going to introduce or has introduced crypto as well into their payments network. So, you have an example of a platform which is basically functions like a bank, in some ways, which has interoperability, or that allows users to use both crypto and bank-based currencies or fiat currencies. And so I think you'll see more of a system, of a hybrid system, where you have bank-based currencies and crypto, where crypto would be the smaller sort of cousin, younger cousin, working side by side. And uh, governments will issue their own digital currencies. Let's call it that. I won't call them cryptocurrencies for a few reasons. China has already started it. couple of other countries have already done that, and all central banks are researching it or have researched it and have it in the pipeline. And so they definitely will. But those are not going to be alternative cryptocurrencies. So, for instance, as an example, if the Indian central bank, that's the Reserve Bank of India, decides to issue its own digital currency, it won't be a replacement of the Indian rupee. It'll just be a digital Indian rupee. So, it'll be a way in which to facilitate digital payments of the existing Indian rupee. It's not an overhaul of the system. And that's a smart thing to do, I think, which is not to overhaul the system. Banks now, if banks try and make their own cryptocurrencies, they'll basically be asked to take a hike by the regulators. They will not be allowed that, because banks work under the as per the pleasure of the central bank of the country. And if the central bank decides that they want to do away, they want to de-license a particular bank, uh, uh, issuing their own cryptocurrencies would be one of those, because that'll be private money. And if banks start issuing private money, they can say goodbye to their banking licenses. So I don't think banks are going to have private money. You do have cases like Facebook, which didn't realize, I think, what it was getting into when it said it's going to issue Libra, which is pegged to the US dollar. Everything about it says that they didn't quite realize how subversive that is. So I don't think corporations and banks will be permitted to do that. I think the reason that Bitcoin and Ethereum have so far been allowed to run in many parts of the world is because they are decentralized and they're not issued by one specific authority. All right, so that's it for these questions. If you have any more based on these, please leave them in the comments and let me know what you thought. If you liked the video, please hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe, um, and also do share it with anybody else who you feel may be interested, and hit the bell icon to be notified of the next.